You know, somebody always told me, some good friends told me, you'll never find your bank account fat and just saying, please use me. Never. Just take small steps of faith and God somehow provides. Yeah, so Monday morning I check into Sunshine with high heels. Got 42,000. And so she says, okay, so you get the slot. And I thought, well, how am I going to get this boy to get the notes? Out of the blue, somebody called me. It had been a librarian from my former theological school. And she says, you know, I saw you in Sunshine last week. What were you doing? I said, well, look, I have a position. I said, what are you doing there? Oh, my son Don is in Form 1. I'm like, Don has been here. I need notes. She told me, send that boy to stay in my house. He'll be in the library copying notes.
What?
Anyway, the Lord worked miraculously. He did the whole 4 years. And that time there was Mrs. Sang as the principal. She was curly. I told him, you saw how that woman was so strict. We better not have issues with you. And I never had any discipline issues. When he got to 4th form, he got an A-.
What?
I remember getting that. I was crying. I was happy. He was so upset.
He wanted just an A.
He wanted an A. And I said, you said you don't want medicine? You want to become? We have arrived. And I can't tell you the sense of joy. You know how you think at buying a plot, doing what? The sense of joy of changing somebody's life. There's no plot that would have been worth the joy. And then knowing there's been a bottleneck in this family and you are opening. And proud of my son Henry. Very proud of our son Henry, married now. Great woman Martha, and they have 2 kids doing well.
What?
And after that, God brought other children. We had a guy from Congo. That drop bear was a crazy story. Would come up with a budget. He was in one of the colleges. Come up with a budget. 1-2 weeks later, he has no money. What happened? Mama, no viatu. And you know, Congo girls, it's not just any shoe. You look at the shoe, you want to beat him with the shoe. But he's a grown up now, married. Those guys love their fashion. And anyway. So God started bringing children like that, children that we didn't adopt legally in court, but God helped, we raised them. Remember I was in Next before, and there were families that had come from Rwanda, and when the parents were going back, some kids were stuck because they needed to be in school. So one of the girls became our daughter, and it's an amazing story. And she came in, lived with us, and she really wanted to do medicine. But we couldn't afford to pay for her because she's an international student. They were paying like double what they look. So almost 2 million at that time as a Module 2 student. Okay? Because to call it parallel.
Yes.
So I told her, why don't you go to Daystar University? Because we applied, she was called for BCom. Went the first week, came back and told me, I'll do it and I'll get all A's. But it's not what I want to do. So 1 month in, I pulled her out. Looked around, called several friends who are doctors, and then one said, you know, she could start at KMTCT, Kenya Medical Training College. She could start with a diploma. And even though she's not a Kenyan, it's affordable. So we applied for clinical med, she got in. Not thinking she will finish. I kept reaching out to friends in the US, she's a very bright girl. We didn't get anything. She did her whole 3 years here. Again, God works in mysterious ways. That time, Rwanda was mostly French speaking. But here she was studying in English. Finishes that, and we didn't want her idol, like my dad never wanted as idol. Put her in my husband's office to help in the reception. Then one of our very good friends who's a medical doctor, one time in a meeting out of the country, meets some Rwandese doctors and says, guys, we have an excellent, amazing, bright girl who's stuck. And I said, what? Listen to her story. Said, tell her when she comes to Rwanda to call us. She got there, they took her to the Minister of Education. She didn't come back, enrolled straight into the uni for medicine. That's the same time President Kagame had changed that he wanted Rwanda to speak English. So she checks in, she's speaking English, she had studied in English, telling me, I'm just, here it's just free A's for me. Because she had done her diploma. Long story short, did her med, and then we worked with two friends in the US to help her finish. She finished that. She's one of the great doctors in Rwanda today. And amazing child of ours. When I was getting ordained last year, she surprised me and just flew in. So God's given us children across the nations. This is in amazing ways. In the US, we have a son who's there, but we didn't adopt those. So now
And you're not adopting. You're rushing through this story. No, you're not rushing. You're giving it well.
Yes.
But you're not adopting because you have money.
No.
You're not adopting knowing how you're going to...
And those ones we didn't quite adopt in the legal way, but they became our children. And
you treated them like your children.
Yes.
In terms of you're the one who's looking for fees for them.
Yes.
You see, by the time you're telling me you're looking for fees for... And this is not the first child. You've already talked about all of this one. You're doing the duties of a mother.
Yes.
You're treating them like your own children. So, and the reason why I say this is because... So you don't have it figured out financially by the time you're making these commitments.
Somebody always told me, some good friends told me, you'll never find your bank account fat and just saying, please use me. Never. Just take small steps of faith and God somehow provides. God provides for those things. I can't tell you how we did. That 42,000 was a lot at Sunshine at that point. So what I did, I went to the school and told them, I'll do this in 3 installments every month. So that was manageable. Okay? And then this child didn't need big, he just said, I have a roof. I'm in a school. I'm reading. So he didn't disappoint. And I always told him, I don't need anything from you. If you can, what you can do for one more, what we did for you, that's it. Pay it forward to somebody else, that's it. Even that A, you wanted your name in the paper for me. No, it's not for me. It's for you. Me, I am so happy. I was crying. I was happy. Our daughter, when she did her KMTC, she was the best academics, best in practicals, best all-rounder. We had 3 trophies. It's been such a blessing because for me, I just thought, even though you didn't give birth to these children, it's amazing what God has done. And for me, education is so important because I feel there are 2 things that equalize us in life. One is the cross of Christ, because there you're equal. It doesn't matter where you came from. But education also gives people a new grounding and a footing. Whether you came from a poor family, if you get a good, something opens up. And for many years, I've always wanted to start a scholarship fund. Maybe it's something I'll still do in a couple of years. But just finding kids who are stuck. This Form 1s who went in, I don't know those kids, but my relatives in Eldoret were saying, there's this child, so you can help them, find friends. And they're stuck. I think, how am I going to do it? But then I put it out in 1 or 2 of my groups. And people said, if everybody chips in, we'll take this girl to school. There's like a boy who didn't make it for first term. And he's still waiting. And my uncle was like, so you help him also. He missed out and we found a good school, just help him. And I'm thinking, God, can you imagine being out of school for a whole term? You know your friends are there and you're stuck. And his mama is washing clothes. And I thought, we're going to do this one. I may not know him like I knew the others, but we will do this one. So for me, that's been a joy. It's been a major privilege to have children in a different, and not to be just closed in with those. And when Henry finished and he did a BCom, and I knew God, see now I'm done. The children, I told you I'm done.
Yes.
And now I'm almost where people are getting married. I knew I'm done. Now I'm in new life. I sincerely can't tell you how we ended up adopting season 2.